Smackdown has literally just got off the air. It was a crazy show in Lyon in France just before Backlash. We got some news about WrestleMania. We got some news about the QR code. We got some potential feuds that have been started. First off, the crowd was off the chain. They were loud. They were proud over in Lyon in France. And what a change it was watching SmackDown at 6 o'clock in the evening over here in the UK, other than 1 a.m. in the morning. Announced for the show was at the RKO Show. There was a face-to-face with Styles and Cody. A-Town Down Under were defending against the Street Profits, and the AOP were going against the New Catch Republic. But it starts with an 8-woman tag match. It was quite interesting because Bayley come out, and then Naomi come out, and then the Hills come out, Stratton and Damage Control, before Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill come out. Jade Cargill come out last, looking like an absolute megastar. There was a huge pop for Jade Cargill as well. It was a really good 8-woman tag to kick off the show. They were showing still some dissension in the ranks with Bianca and Bayley. That was still going on during this match. There was a couple of tags that were, got a few surprise looks from each of the women there. Some really good 8-women action in this. The follow-up and the end of this was a hot tag to Jade Cargill. Everyone hits their finishers or hit some big moves. And then the KOD from Bianca Belair into the 1, 2, 3. And the faces, Bianca, Naomi, Bayley, and Jade Cargill go on and win their matches. Now, tomorrow night at Backlash, obviously, Bayley goes against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. And Damage Control defends their tag team championships against Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Will either of those two have a title change? I think the tag team titles may change. I don't see Bayley dropping her title this soon after winning it. I do see, however, the tag team championships changing, the women's tag team championships, that is. And I think Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair will end up winning the tag team gold. Some really good little moves on this. Tiffany Stratton come off looking strong, which is good, as she should. She done some really good spinning back elbows and an Alabama slam. There were some really good moves in this match, and all 8 women should have come out of that match looking good. There were some real crisp tag team moves as well from Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, making it look really easy. It was quite surprising. Jade Cargill is coming along. She was coming along in AEW. WWE have taken her. She's coming along there as well. She looks like a megastar already. There was a bit backstage where the A-Town Down Under were talking about how they're going to win in France. They were trying to smell something, and it was the smoke, because they are the smoke that the Street Profits want. Bianca and Jade were backstage at this point as well, and they were saying how confident they were on victory. At the weekend, there was still a bit of dissension there. Bianca was saying, I wanted to wait over a year to get rid of this damage control problem. And hopefully it ends on Saturday or ends tomorrow night when they win the tag team gold. Bayley was there as well as Naomi. Still dissension in those ranks. What will happen? Will she go after Bayley after the tag match at the weekend? Who knows? Backstage again, Carmelo Hayes and Nick Aldis. Carmelo declaring for King of the Ring. Yes, those tournaments start next week on Raw and SmackDown. They will begin and they will end in Saudi Arabia in a couple of weeks' time in the King of the Ring tournament. Carmelo also runs into Bobby Lashley, who was very happy to see him on the show and said, hey, look, if you need any advice, Melo, just come to me and I'll be happy to give you. And Carmelo said, it's not needed. Don't worry about it. And Lashley paid him a warning of careful who you disrespect on the brand. Are we setting up a Carmelo Lashley feud for Carmelo's first feud on the blue brand? I am all here for that. Tag team action again next. This time it was New Catch Republic versus the Authors of Pain. Both teams, the Final Testament and the New Catch Republic, have been drafted to Raw. So going forward, when those rosters lock on Monday, they will be Raw unless there are any trades, because they did keep hinting a little bit that there may be some trades coming up before Raw, mainly saying when the roster locks and if the roster locks as it is and all of this sort of stuff. So it does make you think those rosters will lock on Monday and perhaps we'll see some trades along the line. Now, interestingly enough, before we get to this, I must say, QR code did air later on in Smackdown, and it is all about Bo Dallas. It looks as if we're going to be seeing Uncle Howdy. Could be as soon as Backlash. Who knows? It was a scary little video. It was hyping up Backlash, cut to a woman in white, and we all believed. And there's a little thing of it on our Twitter page where it's Bo believed and Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy. Could it be Alexa Bliss as well? Eric Rowan has re-signed with WWE. Is he going to form part of that six? We will see. And just on a side note of re-signings for WWE, Seth freaking Rollins has re-signed a multi-year agreement with the WWE following Drew McIntyre. One would expect Becky Lynch to follow suit. Anyway, the new Catch of Public Authors of Pain, Side versus Speed. This was a really good tag team match. It kind of surprised me a little bit. I was expecting it to be kind of slower down pace with a lot of power moves, but what was going on was a typical size versus speed. The new Catch Republic was getting the advantage by using their speed, using their quickness, using their high flying, and then every so often, Authors of Pain would smash him with a big power move and knock him down. But Authors of, they really bumped for the new Catch Republic. I was quite surprised at how much they were bumping for them during this match. There was lots of times where they were flying around the ring just as much as New Catch Republic, as much as, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. And they are deceptively quick for their size, Authors of Pain. I've noticed that as well, Akam and Razor. There was a big aeroplane spin but right near the end of this match by Bate on, I think it was Akam. And then at that point, Karrion Kross gets involved on the ramp, on the ring, and then the big finisher from AOP picks up the victory on there. But both teams, well, team and a group goes to Monday Night Raw going forward, providing there's no trades. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Just before the RKO show, Nick Aldis and Paul Heyman were out the back, and Paul Heyman was requesting that Randy Orton and Kevin Owens get pulled from the tag team match tomorrow. And Nick Aldis was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then he was asking, who's in charge? Where's the tribal chief? Was that by order of the tribal chief? And Heyman says, I haven't spoken to Roman Reigns since WrestleMania. Remember last week, Roman Reigns pulled out of the draft because of what Paul Heyman said, that he had spoken to Roman and Roman pulled out of the draft. He hasn't spoken to Roman Reigns since WrestleMania, which means, and he said it, Paul Heyman pulled Roman Reigns out of the draft. Why? We do not know. The bloodline storyline keeps evolving, keeps moving in another direction. So although Roman's not here, he is still here. And we're hearing a lot more about the bloodline, who's in charge, what's going on. It's still cinema, people. We are still living in cinema world. So get used to it. And I'm all here for it. The RKO show was next. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton on the RKO show. Owens was speaking a lot of French during this, which the crowd seemed to very much enjoy. And actually, Kevin Owens was saying, I kept getting a phone call from someone, and he really didn't want to answer this. And this someone wanted to be a guest on the RKO show. And with that, he said the guest on the RKO show is Paul Heyman. And the crowd, he come out with the ladies and gentlemen. Everybody wanted to sing along with Paul Heyman as they do. The crowd was hot all night. And Randy Orton said, well, get in the ring, we'll give you an RKO. And Heyman said there'll be no RKOs tonight. And Kevin Owens said to Randy Orton, you can't, when he gets in the ring, don't RKO him. And Randy said, I don't want it to be so obvious. I want it to be out of nowhere. And then they were talking about who is the tribal chief. And before he could answer that question, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga come out, and they had got into a big brawl at ringside. Security tried to mix it up and break it up. They ended up getting annihilated by Randy Orton, the table bump as you normally see. Kevin Owens flies out and directs and pretty much takes out everybody from the ring. And that fight carries on, and we'll hear more about that very shortly. Next was the Street Profits. They were talking about they want the smoke. They're going to win the tag team titles here in France, and we'll find out a bit later on. And then, oh my God, LA Knight. Yeah, the monster pop of the night as LA Knight's music come out. He went one-on-one with Angel from Legado del Fantasma. You know, this was a good little match, but my God, that crowd was so involved. They were involved all night. I'm not sure what they were doing when it was a 1-2 kick out. They kept doing it, whatever it was. It was fantastic. This match had quite a bit of interference, as you could imagine. Legado del Fantasma did try to interfere in this match as much as they could, but it wasn't enough. LA Knight hits the blunt force trauma and gets the 1-2-3, much to the crowd's delight. Then LA Knight gets on the mic and basically puts himself into the king of the ring because whose game is it with everybody saying LA Knight, yeah, but Santos Escobar has also declared for the king of the ring. So you've got Gunther, you've got Mello, you've got LA Knight, yeah, you have got Santos Escobar, all currently in the King of the Ring tournament, which, as I said, begins this coming Monday on Raw. Backstage, we go to Saxton asking Carlito why he took out Dragon Lee before WrestleMania, costing him his match at WrestleMania because obviously Andrade was then chosen. Carlito thought it was going to be him. And Carlito said that he did it. Look, he wanted a Mania match. He wanted Rey Mysterio to pick him, and that's why he attacked Dragon Lee because he thought that Rey was going to choose him instead of Andrade. And before he could say any more, Dragon Lee attacks Carlito, and they have a little brawl on the outside. Carlito runs away. Rey Mysterio breaks it up. We've probably not seen the last of that because the whole of the LWO have been drafted to Raw as per the draft. And again, as soon as those rosters lock, it will be confirmed. Their tag team championships was next. A-Town Down Under versus the Street Profits. Now, do you know what? The Street Profits dominated this match from bell to bell. It looked like this was going to be a glorified squash match for these. It was a really good tag match, though. The Profits, when you get them in the ring, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get really, really good tag team action, as it was. They, as I said, they dominated this match. I think there was a bit of a miscommunication near the end. There was a coast to coast, I think it was from Waller, and it kind of hit Dawkins in the hip as Dawkins was laying on the floor. Waller went to the top rope to jump on Montez. Montez kind of saw him, turned around. Grayson Waller then walked across the rope, hit the coast to coast on Dawkins. And yeah, it looks like he landed on his hip a little bit there. But just as you think that the Street Profits are in control and they're going to go on and win the match, they hit their finisher for a really close 2 count. There then was an O'Connor roll attempt by Dawkins, and then Waller jumps and hits his finisher as well. Dawkins has got the pin, and 1, 2, 3. A-Town Down Under get away with murder in France, literally, with that match because they were pummeled from pillar to post all match. Is that going to be the reign of the way that they're going to make their title reign, full of squeaky finishes, getting out of the gate last, getting mullered, but getting the job done in the end, potentially. But that was their match. It finished up. A-Town Down Under retained. Run down the Backlash card next before AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes face off. And, AJ Styles was saying, you couldn't handle it in the WWE before. You had to leave before you could come back, and you were welcomed back with open arms by legends. And, funny enough, all the legends that you were welcome back to were the ones that I'd already beat, like John Cena. And he went on and mentioned The Undertaker. And he said that AJ was saying that he was kept out of the WWE and he wasn't welcomed with open arms when he come in. And the crowd, to be honest, were really loud. And I think it was a little bit too loud because it affected the point of whatever the promo was trying to get across. It was too loud, as Cody was mentioning something near the end, and he finished it off with the ending saying it's just going to be too sweet. But I couldn't hear the rest of it. The crowd were just so loud that it blocked Cody. It blocked out what Cody was saying. I don't think the promo got over as well as it should have because of the crowd. That's not a bad thing, by the way. It was just the crowd were electric for it, which is how they should be. Just the promo didn't come across as how they were going to, maybe didn't come across how they was going to make it. But according to the Too Sweet, AJ Styles then too sweeted Cody in the face. And just as when you think SmackDown is going off the air, they go out the back, and the Bloodline and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are going crazy. There's chair shots, there's everything flying out the door, which sets up Backlash tomorrow night, 6 p.m. UK time. We cannot wait for that. We'll be watching that and reviewing it straight away to bring it to you. Guys, this has been the SmackDown review from a very, very raucous Lyon in France, with the crowd going crazy. Great episode of SmackDown. Looking forward to Backlash tomorrow. Hasn't been promoted as much as it should be, but WWE never usually let us down in pay-per-view shows. We'll be here back tomorrow to review it. We look forward to seeing you then on the channel. Take care and goodbye.